Hi guys, Brittany Duran, athletic trainer, active release technique provider over at Head to Toe Chiropractic and Sports Therapy. Today I want to talk to you guys about shoulders. Now we see a lot of shoulder injuries, especially with people who lift weight over their head. What do you know? And so I want to tell you guys kind of some general risk factors, why shoulders tend to get so many injuries, and what you guys can do to kind of help that. So the biggest thing that contributes to shoulders is the fact that most of our lives pull us into this forward position. You know, we're mammals with eyes in the front of our head who stand on 2 feet. So naturally for us, having things here feels like a good position. So we eat here, we computer here, we drive here, and so everything tends to be here. So we tend to get very strong in this position. But what that does is that pulls us forward. It pulls our scapulas and our shoulders forward. It actually internally rotates us, and it forward bends, flexes our thoracic spine. So in life, we just tend to get that way. And then when we think about it, we really do lift that way quite often also. I mean, we start here a lot of the time, which makes sense. And yes, we do overhead, which is great, but just the ratio of how much time we spend here compared to here is very, very off. And then when you're doing big, powerful movements, if this is not quite as strong a position for us, we'll tend to overuse the muscles that are stronger, these ones, and underuse the other ones. Now that can lead to the shoulder joint itself actually sitting in a poor position, because our shoulder actually looks like this. This is our humerus, and this is the little scoop that it sits in. So it sits like this, and it moves like this, which gives us tons of motion, the ability to move all over the place, but it also means that it's a little bit precarious. The more movement we have, mobility, we tend to have less stability. So if we're always kind of forward like this, literally the head of the humerus is kind of pushed up and rolled forward. So then when we're trying to move, it's just not quite as smooth, not quite as easy, and that's where we tend to get compensations. We'll arch or move different ways to get through the movement, and we're not really doing it correctly. So a couple things you guys can do and start from the beginning with people to get them to prevent or fix this problem. You can do it as prehab, which preventative rehab stuff. You can do it as part of your mobility days. You can do it just as part of your warm-up, which would be great. Is to work on the motions that are opposite of this. So external rotation, retraction of the scapulas, so meaning not just moving your arms back, but actually pulling your scapulas back towards each other. Thoracic extension. Those are all 3 big ones. And also depression of the shoulders. So not letting them sit up here, but be down this way. So a couple exercises that help with those is one, to do what we call scap pull-ups. So hanging from a bar, I don't have one, but hanging from a bar, instead of doing a full pull-up, just having them pull their shoulders back and down. So just pulling those back and down, and their body is just going to move up and down. And it can be kind of weird to do at first, but really it works on that depression of that shoulder. It gets those shoulder blades back, and it actually does get a little bit of external rotation too. You can do those right before you work out, and they'll be a great warm-up for your shoulder. Other ones you can do is if you have a light band, you can work on the external rotation of the shoulder. So making sure the shoulders are pulled back a little bit and then just rotating outwards. So we get that external rotation. We're going to open up this front shoulder a little bit. What you can do to translate this into overhead is, with the dowel, put it overhead, get in your overhead position, and then just ask people to pull the bar apart and squeeze their shoulder blades together. Now what that does is actually, if you watch me squeeze my shoulder blades together, it actually puts the bar in a better position to begin with. And then when I pull apart, it really just kind of locks everything in place. When I do this, my shoulders are stable. They feel pretty locked in right there. So then if I go to do overhead squat or whatever it may be, I feel like I've got good control over the bar. The last thing is working on thoracic extension. And with the foam roller, we see people rolling their upper back a lot, but they're kind of just staying straight and just rolling up and down. What you want is actually to get them to drape their upper back over it. And be careful that they're not just curving their lumbar spine, but actually draping their upper back and relaxing over that foam roller and then getting that motion instead of just going up and down with a straight spine, because that's really not working on anything. Okay, hope that's helpful for you guys. Watch for more videos to come.